Hi there and welcome to another video. Today we're just going to be doing a comparison between the Seiko SPB157J1 and the Laurier Falcon Series II. I spoke to a guy who said he was looking at picking up an alpinist, but he was a little bit worried that his 6-inch wrist wouldn't accommodate the watch very well. I think it would. I have a 6.5-inch wrist and wear pieces that are bigger than this, and I find that the size of this is really nice, and for me I would recommend it for a smaller wrist. But what I'm going to do is I'll go into the specs briefly. You probably know the watches, so I won't go into too much detail, just like the basics, and then I'll compare the dimensions of the two. So the Laurier Falcon has a domed acrylic crystal, as do many Laurier watches, or all of Laurier's watches. It's got a screw down crown, a screw down case back, which is signed with the Laurier emblem kind of going around the edge of the case back. Signed clasp. You can see a lot of scratches on the bracelet. This is off my Hydra version 1, so I just kind of used that when I bought the watch, as to avoid kind of scratching up another bracelet, a new bracelet. So that's the basic, very basic specs of the watch. Movement wise, it houses a Miyota 90 S5 movement, which has 42 hours power reserve. It's got hacking and hand wind. And the Falcon is 100 meters water resistant. So that's the basic specs there. The SPB157 has a slightly domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. I think the dome is really nice on this one. I really enjoy it. It's got a screw down crown, which is not signed. It's got an open case back, which houses the 6R35 movement, and that has a 70-hour power reserve, and the watch has 200 meters water resistance. So yeah, the Laurier then first, and then the Alpinist. So the Laurier has a 36mm diameter, whereas the Alpinist has a 38mm diameter. The Laurier has a 44mm lug to lug, and the Alpinist has a 46mm lug to lug. The Laurier is 11mm thick, and the Alpinist is 12.9mm thick. So pretty much each dimension is an extra 2mm for the Alpinist. The lug width on both is 20mm, so straps are, if you've got 20mm, then you're going to be fine with both. One thing to note with the Alpinist is it doesn't have drilled lug holes. The Falcon does, but I get around this when I've got a strap on using the dental floss trick, whereas you like wrap the dental floss kind of in between there and kind of pull it down. Maybe I'll do a video of that one day, but there is a video online and that's where I got the information from, so just check that on YouTube and I'm sure you'll find it easily enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly try this one on the wrist. As I say, I've got about a 6.5-inch wrist and I always wear the watch generally above the bone. And that's how it looks on my 6.5-inch wrist. So, the Alpinist then. Firstly, I'll try it on a NATO. The NATO always adds a little bit of height to the watch, so as the Alpinist isn't as thin as the Laurier, maybe some people would rather not add that extra, what is that, a few millimeters definitely on there. So these are on the NATO. This NATO is from Watch Bandit, by the way. Generally I started to tuck the NATO in like so to kind of minimize any length. This one is quite long, so extra material done on it. So this is it on my 6.5 inch wrist. As I say, I think it's a really good fit. There's no like overhang. It is on the NATO, so the NATO kind of raises it up a little bit and can make it look a bit like this kind of like it looks like it pulls it away from the wrist. So it gives a different kind of look to the Laurier because it's kind of sitting directly on the skin. But you'll see that in a sec. This is why I'm going to change the strap for a 2-piece leather, that you can see how that looks. Because I find that I wear it at the minute mostly on a NATO, but I find that with the leather strap, it kind of just has a different feel to it. You can kind of take these out with your nails usually, but not that I don't get it. So this is from Watch Gecko. This is like a distressed leather. With quick release, as you can see. I really think this strap combination on from this Watch Gecko and this really fits the alpinist. So there it is, just to show you that. It looks really nice, I think. And as you'll see now, I think this like really, if you're worried about the size a little bit, I think this really like conforms to the wrist. I mean, the alpinist K shape is like a little, I don't know, it's got like a little liquid feel to it. It's got like a little, just kind of conforms to the wrist really nicely. And I find that the watch sits really well on my wrist. Feels even obviously low as it's touching my skin. It's not being raised up by the NATO. Same with the bracelet for this. The OEM bracelet gives you that kind of feel too. So yeah, that's it on the wrist. Like I say, I can put the alpinist on my other wrist and kind of give you a double shot of how it looks, kind of thing. I mean, looking at them head on, I don't think there's a major difference. I don't think you really notice the 2mm. The alpinist has a bit more heft to it. The Laurier feels much lighter, and it is much lighter. I don't know the weight right now, but with that kind of acrylic crystal helps with the lightness of it, and it's just a thinner watch, and so it feels like there's more heft on the alpinist. Whether you like that or not, it's up to you. I like them equally. The Laurier kind of does look a little bit bigger, but I think it's due just to the white dial. Gives it that impression that it's a little bit larger. And the alpinist looks a bit more kind of condensed. Anyway, I hope that helped anyone out who's looking at these two pieces, or is looking at the alpinist at 38mm and wants a comparison between a smaller piece. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and yeah, any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below, and have a great day. Bye.